Chargers versus Texans, week 17 matchup. Let's get after it. What's up, Chargers fans? How are we feeling today? It is Jake Silva here on Chargers Syndicate, giving you everything LA Chargers news and so much more. If it is your first time ever on the channel, Charger fans, don't keep scrolling. Stop what you're doing. Make sure that you guys like, subscribe, hit the bell button, keep you up to date on everything you need to know about your LA Chargers. Every single video, every play-by-play, every day you need to know about the LA Chargers. Alrighty, folks, this is going to be an interesting game today. So the LA Chargers are taking on the Houston Texans, and of course, we're in our Navy Blues, which I'm really excited for. We are right now 2-0 in the Navy Blues, and I've been excited since the beginning when these jerseys first came out. Now we're taking on the Houston Texans at home, everything all up and onto the line. The Chargers right now are at a really strong record of 11-4 and potentially still in contention of the AFC West. Now, if the Chargers end up winning this game today, that's now going to determine who the AFC West crown will go to against the Denver Broncos in the last game of the season here in Denver. So I'm excited about this game, more importantly, because this is once again another matchup, a redemption type matchup for Justin Herbert and for the rest of the Chargers group after the embarrassing 4-interception performance against the Houston Texans in the wild card round that sent the Texans further into the playoffs. So the Chargers today, they are going to be without in their inactives Kamani Vidal, Jamari Salyer, Benjamin St-Juste, R.J. Mickens, Darius Davis, Kyle Kennard, and Tyler Conklin. Now, this sucks that we have both Jamari Salyer and Kamani Vidal out, because at this point now, that means that the Chargers are going to be heavily reliant on Jared Patterson to come in and take up some of those reps, along with Amari and Hampton along in the backfield. So the Chargers right now are kind of decimated with some injuries, but that hasn't really been much as far as the narrative has gone in the last 4 weeks since the Chargers have been on their win streak. And right now, with their state of their offensive line, no Jamari Salyer, that means one of those guys, either Trevor Penning or one of them on the left tackle side, has to step up in today's game. Because knowing Will Anderson, Azeez Al-Shaair, Danielle Hunter, a lot of those guys in the front seven for the Houston Texans, they're physical, they're ferocious, and they have to do whatever it takes to keep a clean pocket for Justin Herbert. And last thing we want to do is have to go back into memories past from last year and how this offensive line was completely depleted and how it didn't end up defending Justin Herbert in the end, where he's getting sacked, he's getting pressured, he's getting hit. So that's what the Chargers really have to focus up on today. So I think with Jared Patterson, he does bring a really good amount of speed. I have a lot of good faith and trust in him, especially with Hampton, who does really well on the cut routes and on the outsides in order for the Chargers to really get bursts of speed to get first downs. Jared Patterson's going to be coming in as a type of running back that's going to be more burst onto the middle sides. So the Chargers right now, with everything on the table, they know being up and at home, it's an important home game for everybody, last home game of the season, and potentially an AFC conference opponent that we may potentially see again. So that's where the Chargers really have to take everything into consideration. They're a 1.5-point favorite with the over-under at 39.5. I really do think that this game may turn out ugly in some ways because of how physical the defense has been. But the Chargers defense has been outstanding, though, in the last few weeks, and how it's transformed and how it's ended up looking like since this winning streak. So the Chargers right now, with where we're sitting at from as far as ranks go, last meeting, they lost to the Texans 32-12 in the AFC wildcard game in Houston. And last week, the Texans, they're fresh off of a win against the Raiders 23-21, where the Chargers absolutely dominated and gave it to the Dallas Cowboys 34-17. So the Texans offense right now is overall 19th, with their rush offense 23rd, pass offense 16th, and their scoring offense at 19th. So it tells you right now that the Texans, they've been decimated up with injuries as well, but they still have Nico Collins. They still have a lot of really good pieces up into this offense. And it's been a struggle so far because similarly, like the Chargers, they're dealing with O-line issues. And with CJ Stroud, he is definitely a type of mechanical quarterback, in my opinion, where he needs to have that pocket clean. There are times where he'll tend to ad lib, but there's also going to be times to where he's going to have to depend on throwing the football and finding ways to escape out the pocket and get himself into better position. Texans defense is number one overall with the rush defense at 4, pass defense at 4, and number 1 in scoring. So this Texans defense is for real. The Chargers know they're going to be coming up against one of arguably the best pass rushes in the NFL and one of the best shutdown defenses in all of the league. So the Chargers right now, their offense is 11th with 6th in rush, 13th in pass, and they're tied 16th right now in scoring offense. So they need to be able to put points up and onto the board here up and in offense. And that's just scoring up and in increments and all the way to the very end to the fourth quarter to where they really have to shut things down and they got to end up getting a padded lead in order for them to walk away with a win and be on the road to come to Denver to decide the AFC West crown. Chargers defense is 3rd overall, so not too far away from the Texans, 10th in rush defense. Passing is 6th and scoring is 8th. So the Chargers are kind of right there near the ballpark with the Houston Texans, other than the fact of they're better up and at the rush, they're slightly better against the pass, and they're the best scoring defense in the league. So this is where the Chargers right now know they're going to be coming up toe-to-toe. It's more of a heavyweight fight on both of them, pound for pound, where both defenses are going to be going up against each other. Now, the Texans, Woody Marks and Azeez Al-Shaair, they're set to return after missing last week's game with injury. So Woody Marks is going to be somebody that the Chargers know that they really need to shut down. If you give the Texans a run game and efficiency up and on offense, that's where it's really going to shift a lot of the tables. So the Chargers really have to depend on all of their top tier guys to come up onto the front and find ways to shut down holes and shut down spots where Woody Marks will not get open and not find holes in order for him to rush for more yards and keep time of possession on Houston's side. So the Chargers right now, it's determining whether or not if this team is for real, because we know in a 4-game win streak, it's been good so far. The Chargers, they've been allowing at least 20 points on offense for opposing offenses, and they've been shut down. Multiple secondary pieces have also come away with interceptions. So the Chargers right now are literally playing with any and everyone that they have right now at this moment. And depending on how Jamaree Salyer will feel, to me personally, I would want to save Jamaree Salyer in case if the injury doesn't quite heal as well. I want to be able to save him up in time for the playoffs. But it's good to feel that the Chargers right now at 11-4, punching a ticket into the playoffs. Now it comes down to the point of fighting for the AFC West and the number 1 overall seed. So if the number 1 seed is still up for grabs, that's the one thing that the Chargers would like to be able to tackle so that key injuries, they start to come back at the right time, extra days rest. And they've also, since being off the bye, they've actually had a really good record since being off of the bye. 4-0 thus far, and only 2 games left into the season. So if the Chargers do decide to end up getting the number 1 seed and they get the bye, that's going to be crucial for them because Jim Harbaugh will have plenty of time to come up with scheme plays. Key injuries will be starting to come back healthy and regroup and recover. And that's exactly what the Chargers hopefully will find even after this week and going into next week as we close out the season. So let's go, Bull fans. We really need all of your guys' juice today. I'm excited for this game, and let's hope that we come away with a win against the Houston Texans. That's going to do it here for me on Charger Syndicate. Remember, like, subscribe, hit the bell button, guys. Keep you up to date. We're on the road to 1K subscribers, guys, so let's meet up our goals because it's all because of you, loyal Charger fans, is why the show continues to go on. Take care of yourselves, and always remember to bolt up.